All right, hey folks, so this is a video I've been meaning to make for a while, and it's to do with the topic of warm-ups. I'm going to make a bold statement just to kick off. I think for the large majority of people, the aches and pains that they get, the day-to-day, week-to-week aches and pains, it's not because of age or like genetics. A lot of times, people just don't know how to warm up properly. It's that simple. I think that people have this vague notion that they should warm up, but I don't think they really know what a proper warm-up entails. I mean, I was the same when I was younger. You just go into the gym, you do a first few sets of a given exercise, and that's it. I think you would be reckless if you went on to a big exercise with only a couple of sets. So people think if they start with a bar, then add a bit of weight, add a bit more weight, that's enough. But for the large majority of you, that's not going to be enough, and then it's going to cause pain. And as you get pain, you start to identify with that pain. And that's something that older guys do quite a lot. You'll just hear older guys saying, oh, I'm just in pain all the time. I can't train hard. I have this injury, I have that injury. I tore this, I tore that. And a lot of it stems from a lack of warm-up. Like, really pay attention to this video, guys. This is a very important video. Because what happens is you don't warm up properly, okay? So then you move into the session, you start your warm-ups with the bar, you add a bit of weight, etc. But you're not properly warmed up. So then you do affect the joint, you do affect the ligaments, you tend to irritate it a little bit, and that causes pain, and it might even eventually cause an injury, and then you really are screwed. So it's this negative spiral downwards. You don't warm up properly, you get pain, you don't warm up properly, and eventually you get hurt, you get injured, and then over the course of the long term, you start to just think, it's age, it's my genetics, I'm never going to be strong, I'm never going to be able to do this and that. And I think far too many people are caught up with, yeah, I'm gonna say this is a pretty big statement, but I'm gonna say I think far too many people are caught up with optimal volume in their workouts without actually being concerned with a proper warm-up, because without a proper warm-up, you're not going to be able to train hard. And guys, as I've said to you many times before, what is the number one factor in training? What is it? I'm sure you said the right answer, because my audience is very intelligent and very clued up. It's training hard. It doesn't matter about your volume, your frequency. If you're not training hard, it doesn't matter. So if you're not warmed up properly enough to allow you to train hard, you're already starting the session off on the back foot. It's never going to happen. I think for a lot of you older guys, you identify with your pain, even for you younger guys as well. It's not that, it's just you don't know how to warm up properly. Again, obviously not my audience. You guys are very intelligent, but I think it's a big thing. And I think one of the factors, just before I go into the whole video, one of the factors is something called synovial fluid. Just give you guys a quick biology lesson before we carry on with the rest of the video. There's something called synovial fluid in between your joints, in between your bones and ligaments and things. And it's like lubricant. But at room temperature, it's a bit more, I guess, what's the term? I guess it's more viscous. It's a bit like wax. So it's harder at room temperature. It's less fluid. What that means is if you go into an exercise and you're not fully warmed up properly or as warm as you could be, that synovial fluid is just going to be like wax. It's not going to give you anything. And your joints are going to be rubbing up against each other. Have you ever started squatting and your knees start click? Yeah. And if you ask somebody, they say, if it doesn't hurt, it's not a problem. Now, that's a very generic PT coach answer to give. But actually, I'm here to tell you it is a problem. It's a problem because that means your synovial fluid isn't fully lubricated yet. You're not warmed up. You're lifting 100, 200 pounds on the squat. Your knees are clicking. You're not warmed up properly. So if your synovial fluid is all loose and warm and lubricant, then you wouldn't get that clicking. You had less chance of it. Your joints will be able to move against each other with a lot more lubrication. So synovial fluid is one of the factors with regards to the warm-up. The other one is just getting blood in the muscle as well as the joint. So you got to get to the point where that's nice and loose. It's like lubricant. Imagine if you tried to start your car without oil. It's like that. It would cause problems. Same with your joints. So that is my little preamble. What I want to discuss today is the official Fazlifts warm-up and what you should be doing. I'm going to start with talking about general warm-ups. Then I'm going to talk about body part specific warm-ups, then exercise specific warm-ups, and then finally assistance gear as well. We may as well touch on that today. So first of all, I think it's not a bad idea to do some type of a general warm-up. Now here where I am in the UK, the weather is starting to get very cold. It's November. So what I tend to do is I tend to do a specific 5 or 10 minute general warm-up. For me, it's quite easy. I park away from the gym and I walk to the gym. I park about 5 minutes away and I just take a short walk in. It's nice, gets me warmed up. It gets me more warmed up than if I was just sat on my seat all day like I normally am. So 5 or 10 minute general warm up. If you can't do that or you don't want to do that, then just go to the gym, hop on a treadmill. If there are no treadmills, an elliptical, rower, anything. If there's absolutely nothing, bring a skipping rope. Just do some skipping. Just do something, even some jumping jacks. Just something to get your heart rate going and just to start to get the blood going. Okay. Now, after that, what I want you to do is, this is the important part of the video. You're going to go into body part specific warm-ups. Okay, body part specific. Notice I haven't said movement specific. We're not doing that yet. So if you start with a bench press, we're not going to the bench yet. If it's bench day, if it's Monday, if it's International Chest Day, you go straight for the cables, right? So for the upper body, what I want you to do is do some cable warm-ups. Now, there are about 5 things that I do. I don't do them every session. I don't do all of them every session, but there are a range of things you can do, and you should take your pick depending on what you're working on the day and how beat up you are. Okay, so first of all, I start with the elbows. I'll start on the cables and I'll just start doing some single arm cable curls, single arm push downs. My general recommendation is about 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps, starting light and moving up progressively as you get more warm. Now, the reason I use single arm is I can just alternate back and forth. If your gym is empty, feel free to take up 2 cables or just a top and a bottom cable. Do your curls, then do your push downs. But if the gym equipment is a bit more sparse, then just do 1 at a time. Start with a lightweight, 15 reps, do the other arm. Add a bit more weight, another 15, do the other arm. Do that for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and then do your push downs and do your curls. Now, by that time, your elbow joints are a bit more warm, a bit more loose. Now, at that point, what you can do is start to work the rotator cuffs. Very typical external rotator stuff. So like this, with a cable pulling back like that. Okay. You can do that either double arm or you can do it single arm. It doesn't really matter. But again, 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Do look for a video on the best form for external rotator cuffs. So you're not rowing like this. That's rear delts. You actually want to externally rotate your shoulders. A few people have got some good videos on stuff like that. So something like that is good to warm up the rotator cuffs. So far, we've warmed up the elbows, we've warmed up the shoulders. Now, the next thing I do is, it's a bit more optional. I don't find I need it that much, but it can be quite useful. I'll stay on the cable and I'll do some presses, single arm presses with the cable pushing down. Again, 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15. And I'll also do a low cable and some rows. Again, 3 to 5 sets, 10 to 15. Now, all of this shouldn't take you longer than maybe 10 minutes. I'd say 6 to 10 minutes because there's no rest and it's not heavy weight. You're just moving through them over and over again. And you don't necessarily have to do every single one of these all the time. So I've given you 5 options there. Okay, we've got curls, push downs, face pulls, pressing, and rowing. That's 5 different things. All for 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps, getting progressively heavier, but even your heaviest set is not going to be taxing. So you don't need to rest a long time. Just keep the rest periods, well, almost non-existent. Just go straight from one thing to another. That gets everything nice and warm. Now, those are the options for the upper body. For the lower body, I think I use 2 things. 2 things for my lower body sessions, and that is leg extensions and back extensions. That's all. I find for me that's enough. 1 or 2 of my clients also like to do calf raises as well, which is fine. That's okay. And generally speaking, most people will start off with some type of hamstring work if they're doing a bodybuilding session, which I think is fine. So we've got leg extensions, again, 3 to 5 sets, 10 to 15 reps. Back extensions are great. Again, 3 to 5 sets. I would say with back extensions, don't limit yourself to 10 to 15 reps. Go a bit higher because it's body weight. You can add weight, but I wouldn't recommend it, not for warm-ups. Remember, these are body part specific warm-ups. So you've got leg extensions, back extensions, and then maybe leg curls, or just start your session with leg curls. I find the hamstrings need a bit less of a body part specific warm-up. You can just go straight into them. So once you've done all that and you start to say squat or leg press, your legs will just feel so much better. And again, just pick and choose what you do. I generally only do leg extensions and back extensions to warm up with lower body, and I go straight into hamstrings heavy, and that's it. And I go from there. So that is body part specific warm-ups. Now, after that, we'll go to the next one, which everyone's familiar with. That is exercise-specific warm-ups. Not much to say on this, really. Start with a lightweight, get progressively heavier. You know the drill. If you're bench pressing, say, 2 plates aside, start with the bar. Don't be a hero and start with a plate aside. When I was at my strongest on the bench, I still start with the bar. Only 2 things I will say with exercise-specific warm-ups is this. First of all, base the number of warm-ups on how you feel. Some days you're going to take more, other days you're going to take less. As I say, it's winter over here. I'm going to take more and more exercise-specific warm-ups. It's not unusual for a guy like me to take 5 or 6 exercise-specific warm-ups before I get to my working set. And the other thing I would say, the second thing I'd say about this is the first exercise of the day of that body part generally requires more warming up. So if it's cold, if it's the first exercise of the day, you've done the body part specific warm-ups, you might still need to take a few extra exercise specific warm-ups. So yeah, just don't skimp on them. Now that covers the warm-up section. At the end of that, you might be thinking to yourself, holy fuck, Faz, that's a lot of warming up. When am I going to get a chance to actually do my work? This is where you guys have got it wrong. If you're in pain, if you're getting pain from your training, most people out there, they're overly concerned with the wrong factors in training. They're concerned with optimal volumes. So they're in the gym, they want to do their 10 to 12 sets per body part per week, or 10 to 20 sets, whatever it is that the science is saying these days. They're overly concerned with that. And they're less concerned with the actual practical training. And again, bonus points if you get it this time. What is the most important factor in training? I'm sure you got the right answer. The most important factor in training is being able to work hard. If you can't work hard, then none of that optimality matters for anything. Like every guy who's big and strong has been able to train extremely hard to get there. You're not going to be able to train hard if you don't warm up properly. So if you're sat there thinking, Faz, I don't have time to warm up, doing all this warm-ups, then, and you're still in pain, you're playing yourself. You're tripping over pounds to pick up pennies. You've got your priorities in completely the wrong place. Most guys in a lot of pain, they just don't give this enough of a focus. This is really important. It's been a game changer for me. I'm 42 now. I'm reasonably strong, and I'm still able to train really hard because of stuff like this. I think the worst thing you can do is just try and do the same stuff as you did when you were younger. Like when we were younger, we could all train without pain. Most of us could. Now, as we get older, we're not able to not train hard because age. It's because we haven't adapted. You have to adapt. Like, not to blow my own horn here, but I've been training for 25 years, okay? And I get that people have been training for longer, but I've also excelled in a number of different sports: bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman. I've also ran a reasonable distance. You don't do that without adapting to your circumstances, adapting your age. You have to remain open-minded. You have to adapt. There's no point saying, that's it, my age. There's also equally no point saying, I'm never going to let my age hold me back and just go and get hurt. The amount of guys who I see who are older, who would just have shit exercise form, never warm up properly, and are constantly injured, it baffles the mind. It's all like macho bullshit. You know what's macho? Actually doing what your body needs and getting stronger and better and actually achieving something for your efforts. That's what I consider to be macho. Not putting yourself through hell just so you can post on Instagram, yeah, I'm a badass. No, you're not a badass. You're a dumbass. Do the stuff properly. Okay. But anyway, enough of that negativity. Moving on. The last thing I want to talk about is assistance gear. My opinion on assistance gear has softened over the years. I'm a lot more likely to use assistance gear. I split it up into 2 categories: things which are going to support you in lifting heavy, and things which are going to do the heavy lifting for you. So let's cover that first. First of all, there used to be a case a couple of decades ago where people would wear bench shirts to lift more weight, or squat suits to lift more weight. And there would always be the cope of, it keeps me safe. This is the same guy who's squatting 1,000 pounds and blowing out his leg. Yeah, that didn't keep you safe, bro. I think you've lost the forest for the trees here a little bit. So all that kind of supportive gear, like the heavy knee wraps, the suits, all that stuff, that is in a category of things which are going to let you lift more. It's not things which are going to keep you safe. So that is not the stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like belts, wrist wraps, which are wraps or things which go around your wrist and help to secure your wrist straps, that is things which allow you to hold on to the weight, knee sleeves, elbow sleeves as well. I'm a lot happier for people to use this stuff, but use your best judgment. Don't wear stuff which is excessively tight. If you need a crew of 3 guys to put on your knee sleeves, bro, you've lost the plot. Like, your knee sleeves should be reasonably tight, but they shouldn't cut off your blood circulation. They should keep you warm in the gym. And they do help. If you do all this, if you warm up correctly, use corrective assistance gear, you will be able to train hard. And guys, what's the most important factor in training? Training hard. And this video will hopefully unlock some of the keys to doing that. Yeah, this is the protocol I use for all my clients. Okay, all my guys are able to train without pain. And if they're not currently, then they're a new client and we're getting there. This is what it's about. This type of education is what an actual coach gives to his clients and gives to YouTube to tell them, how do you train hard? How do you still train hard when you're getting older and you have these little aches and pains? This is the kind of helpful stuff which is mandatory for, if not you right now, then down the road. Folks, with that, if you are interested in coaching and actually want to get some results without constantly being in pain, there's a link in the description. Get in touch, DM me on Instagram, whatever you like, and like the video, subscribe. Have a good, hard, effective training week because you can train hard. All right, peace out.